Hello, everyone. Welcome to this January. Oh my God. November
You're
9th
ahead of
edition
yourself.
of the Career Files. We are so excited to have you with us.
Yes,
Today's,
welcome, welcome.
yes, go ahead, Justin.
No, I was just saying welcome, welcome. Go ahead.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We will get to our intros very shortly. We just wanted to talk a little bit about the topic. Today's topic is going to be interactive. So, to our audience, So our we are live streaming currently on X, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Super
Mhm.
engaging discussion. We're not here to just talk to ourselves. We're here to talk to you. So if you have any questions, drop it in the comments. We will address your questions and any comments you may have. So don't be shy. Engage with us. So today's live stream career files is first off being hosted in the Unfeathered community. We are on X and YouTube. Give us a follow. Give us some love. We are also on LinkedIn. And today's topic is about how to better negotiate your salary or your offer. I think we've all been through that at a certain point, and that's really what we're going to equip you with mindset, tools, and information so you can approach this conversation with a lot more confidence. We'll
Yep,
do our intros, and Justin, the mic is yours.
yep. And to go to kind of give a little bit more on top of that, today we're going to start out with how to negotiate your offer, right? If we don't make it to today, we can have another part series in a few weeks about how to negotiate a higher salary when it comes around bonus time, right? We'll probably focus on that at the beginning of the year when it's closer to that time. But I just want to kind of specify we're going to start out speaking and probably spend the majority of the time focusing on how to negotiate your offer, right? Or how to negotiate your salary before you even get to the offer. But with that being said, again, thank you so much for joining us for another episode of the Career Files, hosted by Unfeathered. Grateful for my awesome and amazing co-founder and co-host today, Netta. And if you guys don't know, my name is Justin Thomas, aka the Job Father. I'm an executive recruiter with over 15 years of experience and also a career coach. As the Job Father, I help you get the offer and land the offer that you can't refuse.
Thank you. And thank you very much, Justin, for your kind words. And my name is Netta. I am the founder of Unfeathered. I also wanted to let you all know that any statements I make is not a reflection of my employer. These are just my opinions. Just wanted to let you all know that.
Yep. So,
So
yep.
let's start.
And this episode was really for every professional, right, who's been taught to be grateful, trained to be quiet, and now needs to be strategic, confident, and unapologetic about asking for what they're worth. Okay, so let's hop right into it, right? So if the thought of negotiating makes your stomach turn, right, if it makes you uncomfortable, guess what, guys? As we always say, you're not alone. But what if I told you it's a skill and not a personality trait, right? So today in Unfeathered, we're going to help each other rise together by literally rising the amount of money we start to land on these offers.
I love that. And honestly, like even myself, I'm still working on this. It's a skill set. It's also a life skill, knowing how to ask for more. I used to approach this conversation as me, like, why would someone pay me more? I was questioning my own self-worth. And I think that many of us do that. And it's a mindset shift that we need to make
Mhm.
to appreciate our skills, appreciate ourselves, and to give ourselves cut yourself some slack. You deserve it. You
Yeah,
got this far. You got this far in this job. You got this far in the interview process, and they want you. They chose you. They see something in you. Why don't you see that in yourself? And if you think that, it's also a question of being very strategic. If you don't ask for more now, you're undervaluing yourself not only now, but if you would have asked now, you would have been worth more, right? So down in the line, down the line, you're you're doing yourself a huge disfavor, in my opinion, just by not asking for more long on the long run, basically, is what I'm trying to say.
Yep, and you know, like Netta just did, she acknowledged it's okay to have fear to negotiate or ask for more money. It's uncomfortable at times, right? If you're not comfortable with yourself, and there's many myths and things and negative connotations around negotiating when it comes to your salary, especially in today's market, especially for women, immigrants, and first gen pros, right? People who are not trained in that matter, or who just been, got the shorter end of the stick uh, throughout history. So with that, let's jump into the first segment, which is why we don't ask, right? Why we don't ask for more money, or why we don't fight for ourselves when it comes to having that salary conversation with the recruiters, or when you're interviewing for a role, right? The first thing is conditioning, right? A lot of us have been taught that we should be grateful just to get the offer, especially in today's job climate, right? You repeat the way hiring managers even think this way sometimes. And I've heard, unfortunately, them say this to some candidates: hey, you should be grateful, or they should be grateful they're even getting the offer. All right. So that's the first point. Then we have internal barriers, right? Fear of losing the offer. Many of us have imposter syndrome. And Netta, did you want to add anything to that before I keep going? I didn't want to just keep talking off the rail.
I wanted to address specifically the first point.
Okay, let's
The
do that.
market is the market, like I always believe in having an abundant mindset, but I'm talking to a lot of job seekers. I host social audio rooms for job seekers as well,
Mhm.
in a different community, and I'm hearing from people from different walks of life, different cultures, and the job market is tough. I acknowledge that. Like we acknowledge that. But it's these little intricacies, it's the mindset shift, it's being strategic and around your entire job search that'll help. And one of the moments where you're supposed to be the most calculated and strategic is now. In this day and age, you need to be very calculated with everything that you do throughout this entire job search process. So this topic, Justin, um, very timely as well. As you said as well, uh, end of year review. It's coming up, folks. So this is perfect timing. Take your pen and papers out, start taking notes, and start implementing. And one of the things I wanted to address down the line in the live stream is practicing these skills. You don't want to be practicing it in front of your employer right then and there, but we can come back and circle back to this one. Keep
Yep.
going, Justin. Thank you.
All right. So again, conditioning. We've been taught that we should be grateful for the offer, right? Especially in today's market. Next one, internal barriers: fear of losing the offer, or having imposter syndrome. And then the last one, or one of the last ones, is our external blockers, right? It's a lack of having data or not knowing what to say. And all of those things we'll go over today. But here's something I'm gonna give you as an insider tip, something that other recruiters are not able to tell you because they work for companies, right? I've seen people lose the offer for not negotiating their salary or for not asking for more, right? It doesn't matter how tough the market is today. What actually, I take that back. It does the because the market is so tough today, it matters even more for you to fight for yourself and negotiate. Because the market is so tight right now, hiring managers only want the best. And if you're not willing to fight for yourself, but somebody else that you're going against is, they're going to get that edge as the best unless they go about it the wrong way. I've seen hiring managers say, hey, they must not be that confident in themselves or actually good at what they do, because they would have fought more, asked for more. This person asked for more, seems more confident. I'll take my risk on that person. All right. So
Can
let's
I
get
just
that
jump
fear
in
out
for a
of it. Of
second? Can I just be
course.
very blunt with our audience? We're scared. We have imposter syndrome. If you're going for a job, or even if you're approaching clients and you need to negotiate with your clients, your fears won't feed you at the end of the day. It won't put money on the table. It won't provide for your family. So I will say, and I know it's not easy, and I can't be and I haven't been this blunt often, but toughen it up. If you don't ask for yourself, if you don't stand up for yourself, Yes, you may lose the offer, as Justin will say, but once again, you are doing yourself a huge disservice, not only for the money, but also for your self-development. Let's keep going, Justin.
Yep. So just because we're all about engagement, whether you're watching live or you're watching this playback as a recording, drop in the chat or the comments. What's the biggest thing that's ever stopped you from negotiating? Right? Just drop it in the comments. Let us know.
I'd love to know
And the big
personally.
reason is we rise together, community. We can't rise together if we don't see that other people are going through the same things we're going through. So let's help each other out, not just Ned and myself, but everybody else in the community. Let's drop something in the chat. The biggest thing that's ever stopped you from negotiating. All right.
Please.
Now,
Thank you,
that's it.
Justin.
No worries. So that's segment one. Moving on to segment two, right? Understanding your value and the numbers. All right. So that is just understanding your value is first. That's key. And then we're going to talk about the data points. Netta, did you want to start this one off or did you want me to go into it?
I'll start it off. Research. Do some research. There's asking for too much. There's asking for too little. You want to find, and I have a question for you, Justin. Um, when it comes to researching, how much, because even the research information can be very skewed, right? It could be very different and varied. How do you find that middle spot, that sweet spot for that our viewers, will be able to use in terms of the data and the research data? What's the advice you can give them on that?
Typically, Glassdoor is good. It's annoying because you have to make an account, but Glassdoor typically comes up okay, right? Or you can view different salary guides. But here's what I will say before you do any research, know how much you need to thrive, not just survive. Know how much money you need. If you're not transitioning to a new profession, base it off of what you were most recently making and bump it up a little bit, right? So when you do your research, and if you see that you are at the bottom end of that average that you're coming up across on Glassdoor specifically, then ask for more money. Don't be afraid to ask for more. But most importantly, know what you need first, not just to live or survive, but what you need to thrive and be happy, because you want to land a role and take the role and ask for enough money that you will be happy with, right? Once you establish that baseline, then you go to Glassdoor and you may see a wide range. Pay attention to a lot of companies pay higher in California and New York, and maybe one or two other cities like DC. But know your pay band. Don't ask for something $50,000 or $75,000 over what's being offered in your region, right? Or for your role. There's a difference between, like Netta said, asking for too much because you're overthinking, overqualifying yourself, or overqualifying the role you're seeking, and also between not asking for enough. Right? Makes sense?
It does. I also wanted to respond to something someone said. They dropped a comment. Kalu responded, and not the comments here, but to one of the posts when I was announcing this live stream. Many of us, even till today, think that our work speaks for us. This new view might actually be the key to achieving visibility.
What's your new view? The salary, the way you negotiate?
Yeah, like this was when I was announcing our live stream. I made a video post on LinkedIn. Yeah,
Nice.
I
Well, I
agree.
agree with them. I agree too. So another thing is you need to understand the data, understand the numbers. Total compensation, or you will hear OTE, overall total earnings, that is not equal to the base salary. Okay. Total compensation is the base salary plus stock, signing bonus, PTO, etc. You want to know what your minimum base salary number is. So if your base salary is 150, don't let them tell you, oh, or your base salary requirement is 150. Don't fall for your base salary being 150, but total earnings being up to your base salary being 100 with total earnings being 150. It's not the same thing. Okay, and we'll talk about that breakdown and how to talk about that a little later, but just know that difference, okay? And then, like Netta said, know your market value versus your last paycheck. Your last paycheck, in my opinion, shouldn't matter too much. And we'll talk about that a little bit more further down the line as well. What
I'm
matters,
curious about that one though, to be honest.
okay,
What do you mean exactly by your market value versus the last paycheck? What?
So,
I'll hang on to that cliffhanger.
okay, perfect.
I have a question for you, Justin.
Of course.
And so, what is, we're talking about the base salary. I was in an event um, many years ago, and someone said, ask for at least 10 to 15% more than the base salary. Is there like a magic number that our audience needs to take into consideration, or it's really case by case?
Case by case, and I'll give an example. It's not really case by case, but it is. So I can give an example of that in the coming segment section.
Let's keep going.
All right. All right. Recruiters do expect you to negotiate, right? I'm gonna tell you like this. A lot of people don't negotiate. A lot of people, and this is, it's not a political thing. It's just a thing. I'm telling you, I've been doing this for 15 years. The number one group of people that always negotiate on their behalf and are very, you know, intentional about how they negotiate and don't care if they get the job or don't get the job because of this are white males. Okay. After that, there's every other type of male, and then you have white women. Then you have every other type of woman, right? So who are willing to come in and actually negotiate, right? Everybody outside of the white males seems like they just don't feel like they need to negotiate. We expect you to negotiate as recruiters, okay? Another secret is if it's a smaller company, everything is not just black and gray. Everything's not one way or another. Every company is different. Every company is unique. But here's a quick thing. Here's a quick tip for you. Cheat sheet. Smaller companies, companies that are just founded within the last 2 or 3 years, only have 0 to maybe 100 employees, companies where you still need to interview with the president or the CEO of the company to get the job. A lot of those people, those CEOs, you can figure out where they came from. If they came from big corporations, they usually never had to run a full business and are really just now learning what it all takes. A lot of those founders are people who grew up in corporate America over the last 20 to 30 years or 10 to 30 years. And they expect you to negotiate. A lot of my clients as a headhunter are those type of clients, and they expect you to negotiate. They will purposely come in and lowball you just because that's just the business they're used to. Right? They're not used to dealing with the hiring. They're used to just doing business and negotiation. One client, I always tell my candidates before I submit them, all right, you want 120, we're going to ask for 130. That way he'll come in at 120 and you can negotiate up, right? So bigger companies, go ahead.
I'll throw in something right after, but can you very quickly explain what's a corporation, B corporation? Someone like I just wanted to.
A
I
big
was wondering.
corporation? You said a big corporation is something like if
B
you're
corporation, B corporation,
a
B
D.
corporation.
I do not have the faintest idea.
Oh, because I heard B corporation. Okay, sorry about that. My hearing.
No,
Keep going.
a bigger corporation. If you're going for a bigger corporation, right, a bigger company rather, like your Visas, your Yahoos, your Amazon. It's not, they actually typically don't expect you to negotiate, but if you do, it helps. If that makes any sense. And I don't want to give away too much. We'll keep going, but do you have any questions based upon that? And last thing before we go there, Netta. When there is no room to negotiate in the salary, the recruiter would tell you up front in the very first interview. One of our KPIs is we don't like people to get through the interview process, get to an offer just for the hiring manager to get slapped with, oh, well, I need this amount of money. That's not enough, so I decline the offer. So I'm telling you, if a recruiter tells you there's no wiggle room, you either have to decide if it's for you or if it's not.
I know we're getting a little off topic, but it's kind of related to this. You know, during the interview process, that famous question, what are your salary expectations? If I, as a candidate, lowball myself, give a low number, will that affect, and I go through the interview process and I realize, heck, the number they gave me is, I gave them as a little low, or I realized I learned more about opportunity and there's a lot more responsibilities that I, learn about. Will this affect my negotiating ability at the end when I get the offer?
That is a great question. It leads us right into the next portion. The short answer to your question is yes, yes, and yes. Yes, it will hurt your chances of negotiating later on. Okay. Or yes, it can lock you in at that price where you could have missed out on $30,000. I've seen it happen a lot where the budget is 170 and somebody says, "Well, my requirement is 120." So, with that being said, the next portion of the show is going into the conversation framework. All right. So, here's the number one rule with the salary negotiation when you're in the job hunt: never give a number first. Never. For exactly the reason that I just asked, you never give your number first. Now, as I go through these, some of these things may be different outside of the US. I am specifically, when I talk about legal stuff, I'm talking about specific to the US. Canada, for the most part, I know, but maybe if I'm wrong in a little bit of Canada in the way I speak about it, let me know, Netta. But never give a number first. Never, ever, 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 ever.
You
Okay.
made it clear. You made it clear.
I just want to make sure because I say that and people, my clients still going to an interview and fold. So only discuss the salary with the recruiter. Okay. Don't do it with the hiring manager. Don't do it with colleagues or peers that's doing the interview. Just don't. Okay. Communicate with the recruiter first on the salary. It needs to happen in that very first phone conversation with the recruiter. Okay. Or, if they don't ask you or give you the salary for that role with before starting to ask you the major questions in that interview, pause and say, hey, what is the salary requirement you guys, what is the salary range you guys are offering for this role? Okay. So if they don't ask you, because they normally ask at the very beginning of the interview or towards the end, I'm telling you, make it happen at the beginning so you don't waste your time or their time. They normally ask, hey, what's your salary requirement if we were to offer you the position? Or if they don't ask, like I said, stop and say, hey, politely ask what's the salary range being offered for this role. Okay. There are three most likely responses. The first, sure, the range is A to B. Second most likely response is, well, we are still doing some research. Could you tell me the minimum amount you are willing to accept? Third most likely response is they answer with a counter question. May I ask what you were making in your previous role? Okay.
Tackle each.
Huh?
How do we tackle each situation?
Yep, that's what we're going to do. So if they say sure, the easiest one that you always want and which shows a great culture and that the role is actually solidified is sure, the range is X to Y. Whatever that range is. Now, if the top of that range is below your minimum, then you're just honest and say, hey, well, if the range is 150 and your requirement is 165, say, hey, listen, I greatly appreciate the conversation and the opportunity, but my minimum salary requirement is 165. Do you guys think you will be able to meet that? And that's it. You say it just like that. Don't be afraid of the silence. Once you say something like that, just be quiet and let them finish. Okay. If the salary range, the top of that range is $30,000 more than your minimum or what you were going to ask for, you always say, I'm at the top of that range. Still don't give a number. Just say, I'd be at the top of that range. I love to continue the conversation. Okay. Now, if they push back and say, well, what number would that be? Then say the number that they gave you, the highest number, the highest end of that number. Okay. If they don't ask you specifically, just say, hey, I'll be at the higher end of that range. That leaves you room to still negotiate later on if they make you an offer.
I have a follow-up question.
Go ahead.
And to our audience, come on, ask your questions. We don't bite. We're a friendly bunch. And I'll address the three lovely souls that commented in a moment. But my follow-up: what if they give you a salary, you accept a high range, and you go through the interview process, and you're like, holy moly, I should have this job. It should pay like way more than what they stated because there's like. So is there a disclosure that a candidate needs to make that this is the minimum, but as I learn more about the role, we can also revisit this conversation?
That is a
Or
great
that's a given?
Netta, you are doing amazing with the questions today. That is an amazing
Thank
question.
you.
It's something that does happen a lot. What I would say is you don't need to give any preface because people are people. So you never know what type of personality that recruiter has, and you don't ever want to come across as combative, even if you don't mean to, right? So the safest way, people do tell you to say, hey, or that depends on what the role encompasses. Or I have people when I interview them, they say that, well, tell me a little bit more about the role and then I'll tell you my requirement. That's no, wrong. Don't do that because you can still undercut yourself, right? What you do is you wait until the end. You tell them the top of your range. You tell them I'm at the top of that range. And then when they come to make an offer, if that, once they usually, if they're smart, they give you a verbal offer first before putting it in writing. And with that verbal offer, if they give you that higher number, you say, hey, listen, thank you. I greatly appreciate the offer. I'm definitely interested. And I know I told you at the beginning I was at the top of that range. But after going through the interviews and seeing what you guys really want, it's come to my conclusion that this is the position that you got, the job description and the salary range you're offering is different than what the job I would actually be doing. But you have to be smart enough to truly enunciate and execute the ask. You don't do the ask by just asking for more money. For me, for instance, if I'm being interviewed for a senior manager of talent acquisition position and they want to pay me 150, okay, and at the beginning, or the range is top of the range is 150. I go through the interview process. As I'm going through it, they really want a director. I'm managing 4 or 5 teams, not just the senior manager, but I'm managing 4 or 5 teams, and I have to do board meetings, and I'm doing, executive reporting, which is typically at the director level. They just don't want to hire that yet because that name comes with more money. But if you're smart enough, you would call that out. So I would say, hey, I greatly appreciate the offer. After going through this, it really seems like you guys are looking for a director level commitment. And with that, I will require an extra 15,000, which will still save you money from going to the director level, right? I'm not asking for another 50,000 as it should be, but because I'm into it and because I'm interested in the role, $15,000 or $20,000, I would really, my ask to accept this offer would be 175, right? Or 170, whatever 15 is, right? So the point is you have to be able to specifically tell them why what they're asking for is different than what they're giving.
I have so many questions today for you because I won't give too much details about my experiences interviewing in the past, but I've had some interesting things happen at the job offer stage. And I think that it'll help our audience. So I have some surprises for you as well, Justin, with the questions today. But
Well, go
let's
ahead.
keep going.
Are you
No, no,
good with that
no.
answer?
What?
Are you okay with the answer I gave you? Is that okay? Can I keep going?
I loved it. Yes.
Okay.
And very quickly, just wanted to say to address our audience.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so Renee said hello to Bonjour Oli. Oli is one of the people that said yes to attending today. So hi Oli, hi Renee. Jared, thank you so much for your kind words.
What's
We
going on,
appreciate
Jared?
it.
Got to get you on one day for Builder
Hi,
Files.
Jared. Sorry. Dimeji. Negotiate. Hello, Dimeji.
It's Dima G.
Wakar. Yeah.
And Wakar, hello.
Dime-
How's it
I
going?
said his name wrong?
Well, I was just trying to say how he said it the other day on the live. I was just joking with you, giving you a hard time.
Always pulling my leg. And Wakar. Hey, Wakar. We are doing superb. Thank you so much to our audience for their comments. Bring the questions. And we love this kind of interactive discussion.
Mm-hmm.
So let's keep going. Otherwise, I'll bombard Justin with questions. So let's keep going. And if you are here, follow us on LinkedIn, follow us on X, and on YouTube. All
Thank
right,
you.
let's keep going.
So we answered how to answer the part if the response is sure, the range is X to X. Now, how to answer, well, we are still doing some research. Could you tell me the minimum amount you're willing to accept? Don't fall for it. Do not give a number first. If you're paying attention to comments, please type that. Never give your number first. Now, how do you respond to that, right? So if they say, well, we're still doing some research, could you tell me the minimum amount you're willing to accept? Sure. Hey, Netta, thank you so much. I definitely understand you guys are still doing some research. Money isn't the most important thing. So I would definitely be interested in continuing this interview process. And further on down the line, if I'm still in the process and you guys want to make an offer, or when you guys lock in a targeted budget for this role, I would be more than happy to discuss. don't give a number, but you take the risk of the number being too low. But Netta, before you go, so that's the key answer. Go ahead, Netta. Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, burning question. And we addressed this in the hunt a year and a half ago. When you apply for a job, they ask you that question, what is your salary expectation? And I remember Mike Tomasello, another amazing career coach, said, put zero.
Exactly.
If you can,
ding, ding, ding,
put
ding,
zero.
ding. You have to put zero. Because it's a required field. I'm happy he said that. That's exactly what I was going to answer you. Put zero because you have to put something. The recruiter would know. That means you talk to me and figure it out. And it doesn't hurt you.
Exactly.
A lot of times we don't really care.
But here's a question I've always wondered. How will the recruiter perceive me when I ask that? How will the recruiter perceive me if I put zero?
No, a lot of people don't pay
in
attention.
That required field.
A lot of people don't really pay attention to that. Now, the issue where you have to be careful is if it's a bigger company, like a bigger corporation, like the big dogs we discussed that has over 5,000 employees and they're using a system like Workday. Now, they might automatically filter you out if you put zero. Actually, I take that back. Nope, don't worry about it. It won't hurt you because they only filter it out if it's too high, right? So recruiters rarely pay attention to that. We look at your resume first. If we like your resume and we get down and see that you put zero for negotiation, that just means you're a smart person. It means you're because a lot of times I used to put willing to negotiate, but then now it requires you to have a numerical value. So they're not really paying attention. That's just a box in the applicant tracking system. What we see first is your resume. If we like you, we're going to call you regardless. That's the key.
Okay, so don't be afraid, people. Put zero.
Put zero.
They'll move on to the next step if they really like
you. Don't really you don't really want to. I forgot what I was going to say. Sorry. I have read this beautiful comment by Wakar. Thank you, Wakar. But here's the deal. Yeah. You don't want to undercut yourself and you don't want to oversell yourself. Okay. Both things can disqualify you. So that's why you put zero. That's why you don't give your number first. So when you give the response to we're doing some market research and you say, hey, money is the most important thing. I love the company I love the job and the opportunity so far. If we can continue to discuss until you guys decide on a budget, or if I make it to the offer phase and we can negotiate and we can talk then. Now, hold on. One thing a recruiter could say in return is, all right, I definitely understand that. And I get that money isn't the most important thing, but what is the absolute lowest amount you're willing to offer? You're willing to accept if we made an offer. What do you say to that? You say, again, I definitely understand what you're saying, and I'm not about wasting anyone's time, but I would rather wait until you guys have a solidified budget of what you guys can actually offer and then wait to see if I actually make it to that offer stage. If they don't move forward with you because of that, their culture is not good. You missed it's a red flag and you dodged a bullet anyway.
Dodged a bullet.
Yep. Go ahead.
Okay. Burning question. Have you ever encountered, have any of your clients ever told you, a company asked me, because like they lowball you or they give you a number. Have any of is it a good idea for someone doing research to say, based on my research, this is the number? Like, should you even bring up the word research in front of the recruiter? Or that's a big no.
When it comes to this, that shouldn't even be something you mention because you're never giving a number first.
But if they keep pushing?
If they keep pushing, then you just say, hey, listen, I don't want to undercut or oversell myself. So can you please tell, if I get offered the position, I would rather wait until you guys have a decided budget. Just be honest and say.
Go
ahead.
So do not mention your number at any costs.
No.
You don't want to be cornered. You have to go around that topic, I guess.
Yeah, it's not even around. So if you let me continue, don't even go around it. If they're telling you, hey, if they're being pushy, well, I get you keep saying that, but in order to continue the interview, I really need a minimum number. Now, then at that point, here's where you as a person have to decide. Either you're going to just say, thank you for the opportunity and, hang up, or you can buckle and give a number. But that shows a sign of weakness on your part, and now you're stuck. I'm just telling you as a recruiter. Also, number 3, You can continue. You can give a very high number and see what they say. If I'm going to give a number, I'm going to give it high. If I expect the job to be 140, I'm going to say I require 190. See what they say. If they require a number, I'm going to give you the highest number. And if they say that's out of our range, I'm going to say, well, I mean, I thought you didn't have a range. Because at that point, yes, it may seem like I'm being combative, but don't be too submissive where you're just a pawn on a chessboard. If you're in this is for people who are in mid to high level leadership roles. All right. When you're going for these higher roles, you have to have a level of assertiveness, a level of professionalism, and a level of confidence. Right. Also, if the recruiter is giving you that hard of a time, the company culture is horrible. I promise you. I'm 98% can guarantee you that you're going to walk into a bad place. Okay. Now, go ahead, Netta. Did you have something else before I went to the next one?
Well, just commenting on Ollie. We're on fire. Don't mention your number
Thanks,
at
Ollie.
any
Great
time.
to see you,
What
friend.
a great metaphor. Well, thank you so much for your kind words, Ollie. We appreciate your support. And
Thank you for the feedback.
Dimeji is loving it today. Oh, I love how interactive the discussion is today. Thank you very much to our audience who is engaging with us. We appreciate you more than you think. We know we're doing this gives us like it helps us get feedback that we're doing something that is adding value to you. And it just brings a smile to my face when I see an audience engaging with us. So thank you again. Justin, please keep going
All right.
because I have my next question already lined up in my head.
All right. So now, how to respond to? We talked about how to respond to the first two most common responses or likely responses. Third one is they give you a counter question. May I ask what you were making in your previous role? Or they may say, why do you think you deserve that much? Both questions are another screaming red flag. In a lot of states in the US, it's illegal to even ask that. So if somebody asks, hey, may I ask what you were making in your previous role? Hey, unfortunately, I'm not comfortable sharing that information. I am I am a believer that whatever the role is asking, that the role should pay the average for that role being offered. And that's when you smack them with the data of based upon my research, this role requires this, 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 and this. And according to your Glassdoor, this is what your company is paying for this level of position. So why do I believe I'm worth it? Because I'm great at my job, and the last position I took didn't encompass as much work that you guys are requiring to be done for the position you're hiring for. Now I know I will be great at this opportunity, but this level of aggressiveness with the salary kind of turns me off from the culture. Could you tell me a little bit more about your culture and how you guys look to help your employees? Now you probably just extra self, but you'll be surprised. Some people like that. It's either stand up for yourself or get walked over. Now this is for people who are not afraid, who are not looking to settle. I'm not talking about if your back is against the wall and you need to take the first opportunity out there. This is if you're looking for your career, for the next job in your career where you can be and where you can also be happy. Go ahead.
So okay, so many people that I know currently feel backed against the wall. Mm-hmm. Actually. Won't name any names, but I know a good friend of mine, you know him too, 25 years of experience, in the job market, and he's going back to becoming an IT director, which is something he doesn't want to do. So that's a feeling like in a market where you're laid off, and many people are in that situation, they feel powerless. And that really saddens me that this person is in a senior place in his career, but months upon months of applying for jobs, networking, leveling up, and they're at a point where they're like, the first interview I get, I have to take it, and they feel powerless. So we hope that with this discussion, you don't lose your value. You don't feel like you need to devalue yourself, even if the market is tough.
And again,
you are worth it. You are worth it.
You are
worth the money. You are worth asking for more money. please don't look down on yourself. And I know it's tough. I'm not
Yeah.
easier said than done. And Justin, please say something about that.
So, and that's why you never give the number first. Because if the range that they give is below what you're really looking for, but you don't want them to know that, when they give that range, just say, okay, I'm at the top of that range, even if that's below what your requirement is, but you need to take the job because your back is against the wall. Not giving the number first keeps that power in your hands. If they get to the point where they are, asking how much you made in your previous role, you don't have to be as spicy, right? Like Netta said, read the room, know your situation, and just still give them give them a higher number than your range. And if they say, well, we're not able to meet that amount, just say, hey, money isn't that's when you hit them again for the first time. If it's this way, money isn't the most important thing. What is the highest you guys are able to offer? And once they give you that, say, okay, I'm willing to continue the conversation, and we'll talk about a little later, but what are some other benefits you guys have? What does the PTO offer? Do you guys do 401k match? Do you guys have bonus structures? Those are different ways that you can still softball your way into there without weakening your approach as a professional.
Thank you, Justin. I also wanted to address a comment that we got from Wakas because it's not really related to the topic. I'll just go up so people see me. So what do you think about the corporate organizations? As I quit corporate lifestyle 5 years ago to pursue my vision, and now I can feel that the corporate organizations are disintegrating. I'm not going to comment on that. So typical 9 to 5 is shrinking to wipe out. What do you think? What I will say about this specific statement is if you're doing your own thing, you're a founder, or you're starting your own thing, you're freelancing, the power of negotiate, and I come back down, the power of negotiation and showing your worth to your clients, even as a self-employed person, this topic is for you too. You need to properly communicate your value to your employer and to your client. So I don't want to comment on corporate disintegrating. Rather, I want to communicate on the value of recognizing your self-worth and being able to communicate that. That's what we're here for today.
I
Justin?
agree. I agree. I have nothing to add. I don't think it's ever going to wipe out, to be honest. It is definitely shrinking, but with people coming back to office, it's not going to totally wipe out. But with the number, I think over the next 3 years, people will start to go back fully remote. The 9 to 5 is going to go away because when you're remote, if you're a remote worker, you know this. It's not really 9 to 5. It's just whenever you just get the work done, right? And yeah, thank you for your comments, Wakar. I agree with the things you said. Yep, and I agree with what Netta said. So closing out this segment here, here's something I want to leave you with. Do not feel the need to justify your requirement. Just state what it is. Don't hem and haw. Don't say, well, I'm at the top of that range because that's what I was making on my last role, or I'm at the top of that range because of everything you guys asked for in the role. I'm at the top of that range because that's just what I feel like I deserve. Don't say anything. Just say I'm at the top of that range, or I require 175, or whatever that number is, and be quiet. Pause. Let them speak. Do not feel pressured to keep rambling. State your requirements and let them continue the conversation. I don't care if they sit there for 30 seconds. Let them say something. The more you speak, the more you show your vulnerability and that you will fold under the pressure if they just keep you under budget. Okay. Anything before I go to the next portion?
I just wanted to say you have to be calculated. You have to be strategic because they are.
Yes.
Hey, look at it this way. They probably, sometimes they don't do it intentionally, to be honest with you. Justin, anything to add on that part? Are they doing it intentional to
Doing what?
pay people, to not pay people their worth? Sometimes they don't know better. I always believe in giving people the benefit of the
It's
doubt.
not personal. It's all about business, right? At the end of the day, we work for our company. So if I can go back as a recruiter and say, especially as a director of recruiting, right, or VP, if I can go back to my C-suite board and say, listen, guys, you guys gave us a $500,000 hiring budget for this quarter. I was able to fill all of the required positions with great talent with for only 390,000, saving us about $110,000. So it's about business, never personal. If I find somebody, that's why I said if my budget range is 170, if I'm a recruiter and somebody tells me they want 150, I'll let them be at that 150. Depending upon if honestly, it depends if I like you or not. I'm gonna be honest. If I don't like you, if you're coming across crass or whatever, I won't tell you. But if my budget is 170 and you tell me your requirement is 100, I'll say, listen, don't say that number again. I'm gonna submit you to the hiring manager for 150. That way you still got more of the money than you asked, but I'm still saving. And if you turn around and try to negotiate up on me, I still have room to negotiate within my budget cap. So you see how everything I just said was based off of business. The only personal side is be likable. If I don't like you, I'll save a lot of money because then what I can do is from that money saved from this role, that great candidate in another role that is requiring an extra $20,000 that we really, really want. Now I can go to the hiring manager and say, guess what? Candidate A took $25,000 less. Let's move that to the budget for this role, and you can get what you want on both fronts. Still the same amount of money. Everything is tied to the business. Does that answer?
Yes. Yes. Curious to know what Ollie means by his comments. I think what he's trying to say is sometimes they invent an offer for a candidate that probably exists in Narnia. How do you interpret that comment? I'm just trying to figure it out.
Ollie always has more wisdom than I'm able to decipher, so he would have to tell us that.
Ollie, give us more context about your comment so we could show it because we're not sure what you mean. But keep bringing the comments. Waqar confirmed that he's a founder and entrepreneur. He runs a PR agency. And thank you again for the kind words about our live stream today.
All right.
Justin, I just wanted to interrupt you. I have a question.
Of course.
This is a skill, and we talked about this as a life skill that people can have, whether they work for they're self-employed or they are looking to be an employee and work for a company. What are some good ways that someone can practice negotiation?
Negotiating
Out of the box, negotiating their salary, negotiating their value, negotiating their worth.
You mean, did you say in the beginning of this question, is it somebody who's already in a position or for the job seeker? Which one are you
For the
talking?
job seeker, because we also need to address the ones that are getting a promotion too.
That's a whole nother, that's a
and
whole
the year review is coming up.
Yeah, we'll have to add that in for a middle of a week add-on because that's a whole different topic. We won't be able to even scratch the surface on that. But for job seekers, just practice talking to people. I don't know. You would have to. That's why you have great people like myself, like the Job Father, or if you join the great Unfeathered community, this is what we do. We help each other. We rise together. Reach out to some people in your community. Say, hey, here's what I need you to ask, and just let me practice, right? Or if you're networking on LinkedIn and you have any friends that are recruiters, specifically look for people who are recruiters because they will know how to really role play with you and give you actionable feedback. And also, everyone is different. So, hi, Miles. Thanks for joining. Everyone is different. So, really, you just gotta ask people to help you, right? You gotta ask people to help you. This one is just do exactly what I told you. Just go back and watch this video. Look at the responses. Look at the 3 possible questions that they ask, and listen to the way we respond to each one. And just practice doing so, and practice standing your ground. All right. But if you do need help with that, please feel free to message me or DM me, and we can get started. My website is under construction until next Thursday, so you will see that it's offline right now.
Does the Job Father AI work? And tell us about that.
Well, the Job Father AI works amazingly, but I didn't want to spend time selling that. Listen, guys, the Job Father AI is a virtual version of myself. I can't wait to have the updated website, which has all the social proof where people telling you themselves what it's done for them. So I don't want to sell too much on that. I really like this topic, and I do want to spend the time getting to this last segment and then get into Q&A. Is that okay?
Yes, and I also have a special segment too.
Well, go ahead.
No idea what it's about.
Let's go ahead and do yours because we basically touched all the talking points in the last section.
Okay. Well, first off, let's address the 3 comments we have. So, okay. So Ollie gave us context. I want a super sheep of 6 legs, nothing that exists outside of Narnia. But then 50% of candidates will not even apply for the job because the bar is so high, there's no chances. So I think what he's trying to say is when they set the bar too high, they don't apply. And Imaz, you are always welcome to our live streams and Spaces on X. We love having you. Thank you so much for your support. And episode 4 of Builder Files is later on today. I'll send you a message. Looking forward to having you. Um, what Car is saying, listening and observing skills matters the most so that one can be proactive to negotiate in a better manner. Yes, it's like a dance. You dance with someone. It's a back and forth. So the being able to like listen carefully, discern what they're saying, adapting yourself, because Justin talked about being likable. Being likable means being adaptable, molding yourself in a quick way to the person who you're interacting with. So, very well said. Um, there we go. Imaz talked about the likable factor being authentic. Thank you so much, Imaz. And we have a question from Tori.
Mhm.
Would you like to address this one now, Justin, or you would like to move forward
We
and
can
come
do it.
back to
We
Tori's
can do
question?
it now. All right.
Perfect.
So
Let's go ahead.
you're finding it more difficult to move from an entry level position to a more career aligned position at your current role. Would you suggest looking at for your dream job at another company? I suggest you always be looking for another job at another company, always. But while if the current company and the role you're in is not allowing you to get on the path to the role you truly want, do as much as you can to volunteer on different committees and get close to those unit leaders or business unit leaders, the department heads, and try to learn from them. Learn, if anything, what it is to do on the what it means, what the actual job functions are on the day-to-day basis for the role you're seeking to land, right? Get to know those things, get to know those steps, network while you're actively there with the people in the roles you want. Like, go grab a lunch, be intentional, ask them about, hey, so what does the day look like for you? Build a relationship first, right? But learn those things. At the same time, you need to be looking other places, but learn how to properly, if you don't really have the experience that you're trying to transfer into, it's going to be harder to do it at another company. So that's why I'm saying you look while you're also trying to build, and while you're networking and everything within your current company, that may open the door and the avenue for them to give you that chance. But sometimes you have to show that initiative, and that starts with networking. So the answer is do both, and something to shake out.
I love that. Okay, so the special segment I have for you, 3 things.
Mhm.
Start with 1. When it comes to the negotiation, what's your take on having someone represent you during the negotiation?
For me,
And who can do that?
that's annoying. That would annoy me as a recruiter. Why am I talking to, unless I'm dealing with a headhunter, like somebody that my company is paying to hire for me? I don't want anybody. You can't talk for yourself. That's like sending your mother to bat for you at school. Now, if you're dealing with, say, I'm a headhunter, I'm a third party hiring company, right? So say if Netta, you were dealing with me as a headhunter who was working on your behalf and the company's behalf, then yes, it's okay if you don't like what I'm telling you are the numbers, and say you had a career coach, you had somebody, you could send them to me, because at the end of the day, the third party recruiters, we just want to get the offer signed. We don't care. Our job, we don't get paid unless that offer is signed and you start the job and are there for 90 days. So, and we get paid a lot of money for that signature. So in that situation, if you're dealing with an external recruiter, it's still a 50% chance that they will like it or not, but it's a less likely chance that it will affect your placement, right? Because they're not going to go to the hiring manager and be like, well, she has such and such coming to me on their behalf, because they don't want to do anything that will jade your chances of signing that offer. If you're dealing with an internal recruiter, don't do it. That's annoying. That's like going over my head. That's not going over my head. It's just annoying. Why would you do that? You can't speak for yourself. It weakens your authority. It doesn't make it seem like you're just so great that you have an assistant. No, it makes it like you can't come to the table yourself. And as an internal recruiter, I would go back and tell that hiring manager. And if you're going for a leadership role, that undercuts your ability to lead in the hiring manager's mind.
Okay. So if you're working with a third party recruiter, it's okay, but also bear in mind the kind of role you're applying for, right? You're accepting an offer for.
Mhm.
Okay. Very important that we brought that up today. The second thing I wanted to say is, okay, what if you did everything for the negotiation right? Then you were, interviewing for role A. Then you get to the to the offer section, and then they give you an exciting news. We want you for another role. Um, another role that can either go in two ways. We're going to tackle part one, which is either a promotion. So you applied, for example, for a project manager role, and
Mhm.
they promote you right away to senior project manager role because they see potential in you. That's part one. But part two, I just wanted to give heads up, but we could address this later,
Mhm.
is I forgot part two, but let's start with part one first, while I think of what part two was.
Well, what should you do? I mean, just decide if you want it or not. Make sure it comes with more money. Make sure the money is reasonable. Make sure you ask, okay, well, not ask. Make sure you understand that that pay band is higher than if you get the promotion. Like if it goes from regular to senior level, understand on your end how much money they're looking to save, right? And what you can really get away with asking for more, right? So just do that research and understand. But other than that, figure out if you want the job, hear it out. If you want it, take it. If not, don't take it. That's a good scenario to be in. Just kind of depends on you as a person.
So a follow-up to that is, and I just wanted to address this. I know it's not really related to the job part, is that the imposter syndrome, it's happened to me actually twice. I don't want to give out company names, but asking for more money is one thing. But if that happens to you, notice that they saw something in you when they gave you that offer. And Justin, I remember when it happened to me, you and I were talking. And what did you tell me? Can you please
I don't. You
tell
have
me
to.
what you told me?
I don't remember. I'm sorry. I do not have the best memory.
Okay.
So you have to tell me.
All I will say is Justin told me that these kind of opportunities don't happen often. And exactly what I said earlier, they see potential in you. So why aren't you seeing that potential in yourself?
Sounds like,
Believe in yourself.
yep, sounds about right. But Netta believes in everyone. We're getting her better. Well, actually, she's mastering it already. Being believing in herself. She's grown
Thank you.
since February. Okay, now that was really the end of today. We have I think about 5 or 10 more minutes. Um, just follow up talking points. What to do if they push back, right? How to respond if they say this is the best we can do. I already told you that. Hey, if it's a role that you want to continue, then just say, okay, listen, money is the most important thing. Let's keep talking, and we can. I will be willing to accept that amount. Or you can ask. That's where you come in with the non-salary perks. What do you guys offer a signing bonus? Is there any work from home flexibility? Continuing education, right? All right, and when to walk away and how to do it powerfully and properly. Walk away if you in your heart feel as though you will not be happy in that role with that amount of money. If the role requires you to be on site 5 days a week and you've been working remote for the last 5 years to have a totally different lifestyle, and the salary is $20,000 or $30,000 less than what you need to even just survive, don't take it. I don't care how far back against your wall your back is against the wall, because what that's going to do is going to put you in a spiral of unhappiness, and then you're going to be tired because now you're going into the office 8 hours a day plus the commute. Then you got to come home. You're not going to be able to be as productive as you're used to being with your new lifestyle, and you're going to be miserable. And then you're just going to be back on the job search, but trying to do so while you still have a full-time job. So when to walk away is when you make that decision in your mind. You just politely being polite is so powerful. Thank you so much, Judy, for this opportunity. Unfortunately, this is not in alignment with my salary requirements and or what I'm really looking to do as the next step in my career. Please keep me in mind if any roles with more salary or blah blah blah, more better matching aligns with my career comes available. and then you send a thank you note after. All right. So you're not negotiating against the company. You're negotiating on behalf of your future self. Go ahead, Netta.
What do we do if we have two competing offers? And I've been in that situation. There's two companies, two offers, and one of them is asking for an answer, like pronto. And the offers were given like within a very close, like let's say 1 week difference. Because I know we want our community members to have abundance and multiple offers, but how would you handle that as a candidate when you have several offers? Would you
First,
use the first one as leverage for the second one? Would you disclose that? How would you handle
first and foremost, you would accept the offer that you want, right? And that offer is not just always monetary wise, money wise, right? It's about the culture, what you're actually doing. Would you be happy in that role? It does from what you can tell from the interview. So go ahead and accept the offer that you want the most, right? Even if it's not the dream job, but it's better than the other one, and you need a job. Accept the offer that you want the most. Okay, accept that offer. Then go to the other offer and ask for $20,000 more. Ask for 20 more. Anything under 20,000 is going to be like so small of a kick in your paycheck that you won't even notice. 20,000, asking for $20,000 more a year will at least give you extra $200 after taxes per paycheck.
if you accept an offer, let's say a written offer, are you married to that job?
You're not married to
And I
anything.
will say, yeah,
Businesses
go
are
ahead.
not loyal to businesses are not loyal to you. Never be loyal to them. Not anymore. People rescind offers all the time. They wait. People take offers, take another offer, and sometimes just don't even show up. People ghost companies all the time, right? But you're not tied to it. If you don't want to burn a bridge, always write out. Don't ghost them. Just say, hey, unfortunately, my current company gave me a counter offer at this amount. Are you guys able to beat that? Okay. If not, I have to rescind my acceptance of this offer.
I just wanted to add a disclosure here because in some countries, you have legal binding contracts with the employer.
Well, that's in
And I
India
know for a
specifically.
fact that if, let's say, you sign the offer, there's like visas, there's them spending money on you for training. These are legal binding things. And if you sign the agreement, and always consult with a lawyer, by the way, but based on my research with those specific countries that have such laws, but once again, still consult with a lawyer. If they did not render the services to you and you leave, you are not legally binded by them to stay. So if the contract included that you are going to get training from them and they'll be paying for it, but it didn't even get to the point that you got the training, you can still leave. They will not pursue you legally. So I just wanted to make sure this is a general statement that I made, but
Hmm.
still, if your offer includes legal binding parts and clauses, absolutely consult with a lawyer, a human lawyer, and not ChatGPT.
Yeah, and that is for what I was speaking of is specifically in the U.S. Now, where you get tied legally is always make sure you read your offer letter. If you sign an offer, you get a signing bonus, and say you worked there for a week or so, and they gave you that signing bonus. A lot of times, if you leave within 2 years, you have to pay that back. So just pay attention to things like that. Exactly what Netta said. If you're a visa person, if they sponsored you, sometimes you will have to pay the money they sponsored you for back, right? And you lose your citizenship. So, like Netta said, keep that in mind. All right, we got 4 minutes left, Netta. Any other?
Few other things that you can use to negotiate your offer. You can negotiate time off. You can negotiate starting your benefits sooner. Like some benefits, like medical or any benefits like that, start normally after probation period ends. If basically what I'm trying to say is be creative. If a company wants you, and that's the whole part of being likable, asking questions, being professional, showing up for yourself the entire time and being professional and all of that lovely stuff. You do that well enough when you're at the offer stage and a negotiation stage, you have more wiggle room to ask. So if they want you, they will move mountains for you. That's just what I wanted to say, even in this current economic climate. So don't undervalue yourself. Lead with an abundant mindset is my thing of what I wanted to say. Justin?
All right, if I'm good for that. I'm ready for closing words if you're ready.
I'm ready. I just wanted to announce next week's topic. Is it confirm with me, please? Is it if you are approaching the end of your conversation and you wanted to discuss a raise? Is that our topic next week?
Sure. Yeah. Yes, that can be it. Yes.
Perfect. Let's do your closing words then.
All right. Again, thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody, for taking time to join us on this Sunday morning or afternoon or evening, wherever you may be in the world. We always appreciate you joining us here at Unfeathered, especially on the Career Files. Please stay tuned for later the Builder Files that is being led by my amazing co-founder and co-host Netta. As I always say, if God be for you, who can be against you, right? If your back is against the wall, think about and remember all the times He's already brought you through. The enemy can't steal your joy. He can only manipulate your mind to make you forget the times and the things that God has already done for you and come through for you. All right. Remember, it's not that He won't put more on us than we can bear, because He will. That's why we need Him. Trust in Him, have faith. And you weren't born to beg for opportunity. You were built to build your own future. So speak up and go claim what's already yours. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. Closed mouths don't get fed, folks.
Mm-hmm.
You need to defend, you need to speak up. You need to speak up for yourself, because if you don't, no one will. No one will.
Agreed.
Right? Your mom is in next to you to negotiate on your behalf when you're in front of the employer or in front of the recruiter, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you need to learn to have those, and I know it's uncomfortable, believe me, but you need to do this. This is a life skill at the end of the day. Being able to explain your worth to someone else. I want to use the minute to give some very quick community updates. To our volunteers, thank you very much. There are still some that we need to discuss with. We will be setting time for that, Justin and I. So, but we spoke to 5 beautiful souls today. We are super excited uh, to have our volunteers help us grow unfeathered. That's update number 1. Number 2 is we are working on builder files. This is a fireside chat like event that we will be having once a week for entrepreneurs or folks that are founders, like startup founders. Today's event is going to be on Chatmoza at 3 p.m. I have posted the information on X. If you're looking to join, you can sign in from your LinkedIn account, your YouTube. I'm not sure about YouTube, but X, LinkedIn, TikTok, and your Gmail account. These 4, I'm sure. Totally free. Feel free to join us. It's at 3 p.m. Eastern in an hour and a half. And what else? Our topic next week is going to be at 12:30 p.m. Eastern, and we will be talking about how to approach the conversation for asking for a raise for your end of year review or performance review. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we are super excited to have you as a part of our community. Join us on X, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Thank you so much for everyone commenting and for being a part of the discussion. We appreciate you more than you think. Have a beautiful rest